And like last year, even when I started doing the car rap, every car rap I had to bring. So it was like, if you want to get your shirt in front of 100,000 people, you want to spend some money for that. You know what I mean? But I was able to do these freestyles sitting in my car and they're busting 100,000 views. And the shirt is the biggest thing you see. We're able to use the music to cross brand with like other things.
Hey, I'm your host, Tosh, and this is the Creative Breakthrough Podcast. This podcast was created to eliminate the starving artists and give creatives the codes to build audiences, cash flow, and make a living doing what you love. On today's episode, I have one of my favorite artists. Hopefully, he's one of your favorite artists, and his name is Translee.
Thanks for having me, Kosh. We go way back. You a whole legend in that space. So
I don't know about that.
Anytime you call, man, I'm there.
Thank you, bro. No, I appreciate you, man. And I'm excited to have this conversation with you because we've done some things in the past, but we've both grown and expanded. And I want to talk more about that. But first, I want to ask you, for the people unfamiliar with you, how would you describe yourself in one sentence?
I would say I'm a conscious rap artist that started rapping as therapy when my mom died when I was 16, and I got good at it, and here I am today.
Okay. That's like a run-on sentence, but it's rap, so it works. I want to understand, because I think based on what you just talked about, how you got here, like how you describe yourself in one sentence, I want to understand when you achieved your first creative breakthrough, because I think knowing your story myself, I think the history with what happened with your mom is important for that.
I had my first breakthrough was whenever me and my manager, Chris, moved to Atlanta, and we started interning with Collipark Music. So when we started interning with them, and I did this rap, and like every intern's dream is to step his way up the ladder, you know. Whenever he heard this rap that I did, and he took us to this dinner and was like, man, I'm gonna mess with y'all. I'm gonna put some money up for y'all. I think that was the first time that I had like a creative breakthrough where I felt like, man, this can really happen. This can really be a future. Because before that, you could shoot in the dark and hoping something works. But when somebody of that stature and like elevation in the game comes to you and like proposes that to you, it's like nothing, no better feeling.
So when was that, for context?
Man, that was a minute ago. That was like 2010, bro.
And how old were you?
I don't even know, man. How old was I? Early 20s.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And how did that, because you mentioned that you came here with Chris, you moved here. So give people the backstory of how that happened and how you met Collipark.
So me and Chris, man, we used to come to these networking events. Chris used to be like hella driven to like go to these networking events, go to these music conferences. So we came to Atlanta to go to this thing called the Atlanta's Music Conference. We came in 2008 and we were networking. Like I said, the first year we couldn't really meet anybody. Atlanta was real clicked up. It was hard to meet people. But that second year we came back, we ended up meeting Collipark at this random event. Like literally, he was just there. He's at the top of the world at this time. And so we run into him, have a conversation with him. He's offering us drinks. We're not trying to take them because we're trying to be professional. You know what I mean? But we just hit it off, man. It was one of those things where like Chris was trying to get an internship before I was going to come along. I was trying to be a rapper. However you can get the door is how you get the door. He ended up inviting us to come back and start an internship. Mind you, we were still living in Alabama at the time. Dropped everything we had going on. Chris was still in school. We still just dropped everything we had going on and just booked it to the A, man, just to be in the mix of where people are doing things, because it's a little different now, but then you had to be there. You had to be in those cities that you're trying to pop off in. It's a little bit less like that now because, you know, social medias make the world a lot smaller, but we was hell bent, man. We was hell bent on like, figuring it out. So we just moved down.
Now that's really fire, bro.
It's crazy too, bro, because at first, like we literally canceled all our leases, like everything they had going on in Alabama, just off the strength of him saying, yeah, no paperwork, no like actual confirmation, anything. So when we moved down that January of 2009, they weren't even answering the phone at first. Like they probably may not even remember it, but we didn't know whether or not we had made a big mistake. We did know that we wanted to be in Atlanta regardless. So if they would never answer the phone, we would still figure it out. But the fact that they answered the phone and was like, yeah, and like Chris got to come in and like intern. I was like a tag along. We became so influential within that label. Like Chris started in engineering, getting engineering gigs with them. Like me and Chris were both on the like VIC marketing team. So y'all remember Get Silly and all of that stuff and just get into the industry and really understand what it takes to pop an artist off. Thank God like Collipark had a real family oriented type of situation. So we was able to come in because most companies, if you try to come in, you're not gonna be able to hang with the CEO. You're not gonna be able to hang with the boss in there. You gotta hang with the like workers or the person that's over there marketing. You gotta hang with everybody else but the boss. That was a dope situation for us because every day we're in the studio and Holly Park is the boss, but he in the trenches with us. He getting up early in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. What we doing? He running out too. So that was like a real lesson in the game to never get complacent. And no matter how rich you get or how up you get, we really learned, man, that working on the next thing.
Yeah, and you introduced me to him, and he was a very just like down to earth dude. There was a plaque in the studio, and it was like Soulja Boy ringtone sales.
Yeah.
It was like a million, something.
No, try 5 million. It's crazy. Soulja Boy had already recouped his whole budget off of ringtones before he even sold the album. Before the album even came out, that the album had Crackdown on it, he had already sold his. The label gives you like, I think they give him like $1 million or whatever. He had already paid that back in ringtone before he even sold the album, and then he sold 5 million albums.
When you say, that's why I wanted to emphasize that point, because you had brought up the fact of him getting up early in the morning and being willing to put in that work still. They were like at the top of this shit at that time.
That man could have slept good, filled news every day and not gave a damn about anything because he was to that point. Already had the Ying Yang Twins platinum records, Bubba Sparxxx platinum records. All you need is 2 or 3 hits to live the rest of your life good. So he had numerous, he had more than 10, 15 hits on his hands. It was just an honor to be able to come into that type of fold with. Shout out Collipark, man. That's my forever mentor, forever grateful because he really made me believe that it was real for me because I was somebody who had just been rapping, but that was like my ultimate validation and like creative breakthrough.
No, that's super fire. I wanted to like transition from that to like how you got to where you are now as an artist doing what you do now. So through that process, right? I want you to speak a little bit about that, but I also want to understand where you failed as you do that.
Well, I'm gonna throw this out there, man. Anything that you do in the creative space, but especially the music business, it's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot more losses than wins in this game. Any successful artist will tell you that hands down. And we started working with Collipark. I was so new to it, bro. We would walk in the rooms and they'd be like, okay, who's the artist? Because like I wasn't just like glaringly standing out. I didn't have the shades on. So I that was my drawback. But like I said, I never got into music to be like the glitz and the glam and all that shit. Like I got into it because it literally made me feel better. It made me feel good to put lyrics on paper and to rap them. And I got good at it. And I started to realize that my music helps people. So that was my purpose. But so in the beginning, that was my thing. Like I would be getting off work and having to go to an open mic and I would just wear what I had on and work. So I think that was a lot of my drawback, especially during the College Park days, because College Park deals with stars. But I also had to come into my own right to realize that I am a star, just a different type of star.
It's the mentality. So I think, yeah, what I hear from you is I knew I had talent, but I didn't know what that talent looked like from a presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's really interesting. So how did you build that as time went on? Because obviously you have to shape yourself in a way that can be digestible for people.
So even at that point, I still didn't know because we started putting out mixtapes up on the College Park. This is like World Star days. So, we was putting out stuff on World Star. He was helping us get the top box. And I was performing these super conscious records. And then in Atlanta, there was nowhere to work them but go to the strip club and go to the open mics. And open mics were damn near strip clubs, or they had most of the open mic in the strip clubs. So it was like I was having to go to these places. I would have to go to the strip club or go to the Libra, or go to just any of those clubs back in the day, back in Atlanta, man, like around that time. Anybody that was coming up in the music game around the like early 2010s, open mics was the thing in Atlanta. Like they was booming. So it was like we literally did every last one of them. And it would be awkward because my content was a little different than everybody else's, but that's what made me stand out in the end. Like I would be performing. I had this record called "Does Anybody Love Anymore?" and I would be at the strip club performing it. Like all the ballers stopped throwing the money for a second. Like what is going on here? You know what I mean? The DJ like what that did, what that ended up doing, bro, was making me stand out. So that's what kind of like helped me build a name because no matter what, I'll perform at these places, people looking at me crazy, whatever. It will always be somebody off of the cut. They'll walk up to me after that and be like, hey man, I'll fuck with that, bro. So that's what kind of kept me really going, kept me realizing like there's a lane for me, there's a niche for me. I just gotta keep digging to find it. So we just kept putting out music, kept on working. And then eventually we parted ways with Collipark to do our own thing. And one of our friends hit the lottery. So shout out to one of my big homies. He hit the lottery. It's like 2012, 2013. And that was like a life raft for us. God's always throwing us life rafts. Like, he came around after that and was like, man, what y'all want to do? Videos, need clothes. Let me fill in that space that y'all were getting with Collipark to help keep it going. So I really believe in y'all. So that truly helped. So that probably kicked off around 13, 14, pushing. I wouldn't even necessarily say content music, just real music. Like if it's what I was actually going through, it's what I rapped about. Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah, yeah. Like if I ain't never like things I rap about from the streets, it's things that I've seen, physically seen or touched or heard or know somebody that's right next to me that's physically seen, or I don't rap about things that I have no clue about. So I guess that comes off as conscious people box you in. My last actual job was in 2012, like actual clock in job was 2012. They laid us all off. Me and Chris was like, yo, we ain't going back to no job, man. We're gonna make this music thing work because we knew we had the talent. It was hard at the time, but like I said, we got laid off, and then like I said, our partner hit the lottery. So he helps us out more than I'm talking about. This type of stuff don't happen, dog. So like people that are maybe watching this that are looking for advice on how to make it, a lot of stuff isn't even explainable because there isn't any roadmap, but you have to be doing things for things to happen. So it's like your story can be created, but you have to put yourself out there. Nobody's gonna come find you in your bedroom studio and give you opportunity. We gotta be out in the He hit the lottery and like he literally comes to us, man, and cuts me and Chris a check bigger than any of us have ever seen. No, it's not like make you rich money, but it's bad. We actually can give ourselves like a budget to shoot videos, to get clothes, so I can jump into star mode. You know what I mean? And for us to like do a little traveling, go to South by Southwest, and be able to have a good footing, all that stuff cost money. We were able to continue, like after College Park, and we had greatly parted ways. That lottery money literally helped us. It like helped us to continue with the look, continue looking like we was out here because we was hurting for a little bit, like trying to figure it out because we just got laid off. We didn't know what we were gonna do. So that came and really helped us. So 2014, 15, we were just grinding it out, man, doing shows, pushing our line. We did a little tour, did a little college tour.
How much music did you have out at that point?
So I put out 3 projects with Collipark, but they weren't up for streaming. So those are all on like live mixtape. And then the first project I put out for streaming was Culture Junkie, project called Culture Junkie. That was like 2015. That was my first like official mixtape that was on streaming platforms, iTunes, all of that. That was like around 2015. And then 2016, this project called MAO2P that I was working on. We wrapped that up, and then me and Chris had this barber named Amber, shout out to Amber, who was also cutting T.I.'s hair at the same time. And one thing led to another. Chris had her give the CD to T.I., and literally 2 days later, I was on the phone with him. That's how that happened. So like that, this goes back to there is no roadmap. in this to figure it out, but you just have to be doing things. Like if Chris literally he pressed that CD up and went and took it and took the initiative to take it to her and say, "Hey, that was bold. Give this to him." You know what I mean? He had to stick his neck out. She had to stick her neck out because as a barber, you don't want to look like you're trying to do all this extra stuff. That worked out, and he instantly heard it clicked for him. 2 days later, we're in a meeting with him, and I'm telling him, like, I'm literally looking at T.I., telling him, you owe artists like me to the game. Like, you owe me to the game, bro. Like, you put out this type of art, this type of artist, but never artists like myself. The world needs to hear what I got to say. And I think that, like, really stuck with him because we still rocking to this day, you know. But, like, I would say still my journey is still different because of my content. And I've settled in knowing that my music is who it's for. Like it's like the people that aren't listening, it's not for them. And the people that are listening, it's for you. I'm secure in knowing that if there's 10 people that love it, there's a million more people just like them. So we just gotta find them, not the people that aren't paying attention. That's where I'm at with it. It's all jumbled up, but
No, not at all. And I think it's incredible. And I wanted to ask you a few questions about that because you're talking about steps and you mentioned that there's no roadmap, which I love that you're saying that because it's like, here's what I've did and here's how I've gained success through it. But also, I just, like you said, I took the initiative, but you bet on yourself.
yeah.
And you and Chris bet on each other and y'all went all in or nothing, basically. It was like, this is the only plan and this is what we're going to do. And I think a lot of people are afraid to make those decisions. I think a lot of people are just afraid to decide. And I think once you decide on your next step, like you said, you guys decided on your next step. You didn't know what the next step was going to be in the next step. You didn't know the homeboy was going to win the lottery and then give you the homie advance. You know what I'm saying? You didn't know any of that. But y'all decided on your next step and y'all went full force into that. I bring that up because I want to ask you, how did you feel in those moments? Like, how did you feel in that moment? Were you scared? How did you feel in the tip moment? Like, how did you feel in those moments? Even though you still did it.
I'll go back to the Collipark moment. That was probably the best feeling because that was around the time you remember that song with Nicki and Drake that I wish I could have this moment for life. That was my theme song around that time period because in a smaller way, like they were both Nicki and Drake on that song were rapping about they were coming into their stardom, their superstardom. And that was one of I wish I could have this moment for life because it feels so good to finally have a freaking breakthrough. And no pun intended. And for me, I was having like an actual breakthrough because in my hometown of Huntsville, Alabama, where nobody knew me as a rapper except a few people, we're all of a sudden on the radio. We're all of a sudden, and this is through Collipark. I don't know if y'all remember this song called. Remember that song, Walker? Well, everybody. So there's a remix to that song on that. A lot of people didn't hear it, but there's a remix that Waka Flocka, Soulja Boy, Ace Hood, a lot of people at Collipark threw me at the very end of it, at the very end of the remix. So right there on the way to the studio. I remember I was like, I'm gonna shout my city out so that if anybody hear it, they gonna hear it. And I remember that remix, it didn't get a lot of big pub, but in my hometown, they played it to death because somebody's in this big song mentioned in Huntsville. That's where I got my breakthrough in my hometown. Collipark he's a household name, so like he's able to his reach is helping me out. So I was literally having a breakthrough, and I still had a job at the time. I was going to work, and Greg Street is playing me on the radio, and I'm at the job. Like I said, I'm looking at them like y'all know I ain't gonna be here much longer. They're all happy for me there. My boss was letting me off early if I needed to be because they all could see where I was headed. So shout out to everybody else working at the Bank of America about 2012, man. Like everybody was riding for me.
I want to ask you about that because you mentioned how the hook went, but who was the artist of that song? I don't remember.
Translee and Prince Rick. And it's crazy because the dude's name is Translee. I was so mad when Collipark and them had went off and signed somebody named Translee. I was like, they're literally trying to do anything but mess with me. And these guys had hit too. So it was like, I thought it was over for me, man. I thought I was gonna change my name, man. But we were just in two separate lanes.
He gave you a look.
Gave me a big look.
Big look.
And first time my name being in the double XL was for being on that remix.
And the song is called what?
Walk Around the Club.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I think that's what I thought it was called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was,
I'll look it up. Walk Around the Club remix. Look it up.
yeah. So that was, bro, that right there is an incredible testament to just believing in yourself and going for it. And then when other people see the potential in you, but it's really like when people say, if you build it, they'll come. That's what happened. You just put yourself out there and they just came. They flocked.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask you, because we talked about all these different points of your career, and I want to get into now too, but up until you met Tip, or it might even apply to now, but I want to know, what are 3 strategies or systems that you use to break through?
3 strategies or systems that I use to break through.
Whether you knew them at the time or not, just looking back.
Oh, man, consistency. Just absolute consistency, man. That beats anything and everything. Just consistently doing what you do at a high level. I think that never fails. Because like I said, we were just continuing to put out music and continuing to drop videos and to try to be as groundbreaking as we possibly could. And also with our marketing schemes, we were trying to be different also, because back in 2015, one thing that really did a lot for us, especially here in Atlanta, a lot of people remember, is we were passing out CDs back then, but we were always, like me and Chris would go pass out CDs at the most popping club, whatever was going on. We would be, I'm talking about, it'd be freezing cold, we'd be out there passing out the CD, grinding it out, bro. And I remember we would do that, pass out all the CDs, we would go sit in our car and wait for like 20 minutes. We would go back in the parking lot and pick up all the ones people threw on the ground. Like, we was that serious, because that was money to us. So I remember, like, our thing was like, how can we get people to take them to their car? We went and we was like, what's something that people need after the club? So we went and got Swisher Sweet, a pack of gum, and a condom. And we put them in little Ziploc bags with the CD.
Fire, bro.
Yeah.
Fire.
And we would have a big old box full of them. Like, we was really going in with it, bro. And every club we would go to and be posted up outside, and folks would see that and be like, oh my God, I ain't got to stop at the gas station. Like, it was help people with their night and make people remember it. Folks remember that for the longest. And that really helped us build a footing here and gain a lot of respect here from a marketing standpoint. People were like, oh, they going in. So people actually listen to the music. They gave it a shot. If he's doing all this, let's listen to it. That was one thing. And then just staying consistent, being in the places, being in the place to be, going, talking to the DJ. That's another thing, big thing, especially here in Atlanta, is the DJs. Even though I feel like a lot of them get their music from social media now, that's still a lost art, is working DJs. You don't have to necessarily put all your eggs in the DJ basket, but put a few eggs in the DJ basket, because you are going to want them to spin your records, and you want to build that relationship with them outside of the club. Like, you can't go to the club, meet them that night, and expect them to test your record out. Go to the club, meet them that night, get their info, send them the record, let them listen to it when they're chilling, and then come back to that club and try to get them to play it, because maybe they've heard it, but they can't play it right then and there. Relationships and networking will get you further than anything. Because people, I got this from Ryan, a dude that owns the gathering spot. People don't do business with businesses. They do business with people. All of that is just super important, man. People gonna want to work with you if they rock with you.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think the first thing you said, you spoke about the consistency, but everybody hears that all the time. And I think people think it's like this cliched thing to talk about. And sometimes I don't think they know what that actually means. If we just talk about your career from starting to meeting Tip, that was like 8 years of consistency.
Yeah, I would say 6. I didn't drop my first mixtape until 2010.
Okay. But I'm talking about the grind.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, just
because you still had the awareness to be like, yo, we need to be in this place. And that's something that when I speak to creatives, I tell them like, yo, use your intuition. Like, if you feel like the place that you're living in is limiting you, then go explore, try something, and just see how it feels. And if it resonates with you, and if it's a bigger market where you feel like you can get more work, then there's nothing wrong with exploring.
Most definitely. If it wasn't for Chris, I would have never been at that music conference, would have never even known about it. Because Chris was like a researcher. Chris is going to be there. He was trying to figure it out. Because Chris, whenever me and Chris met in college, it was like, he had a whole studio, had a whole, like, his dorm room was a fire hazard, bro. Because he had so many cords and wires everywhere. And so but he didn't have a rapper on campus. I was a rapper that didn't have a studio. So it was like, it was like a perfect match, man. And we've been rocking ever since.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that was where I was going with when you guys said you guys did the marketing, right? There's two things I want to speak about here that I think are really important points. One is providing value. He provided you value with the studio, and you provided him value being the artist that you were. And then you guys did that same thing for people outside the club so that you could break through the noise and get people to listen to your music. And those 2 points, as simple as they might seem now, are genius, because no matter where you are and what business you have now, or what type of creative you are and what kind of art you make, you're going to have to figure out ways to be resourceful, to break through and cut through the noise so that you get seen and heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just think you have an incredible story about that. And then the other piece that I wanted to talk about in regards to the networking is finding people that are as passionate about what you're doing, but they can play their role in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you make the vision so big that the other person's vision fits within yours.
Exactly.
And y'all did that.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's just incredible. And so I don't think enough people understand how to build a team and what a team looks like. And sometimes a team is just two motivated individuals that want to accomplish a similar thing where both of you guys can win.
Exactly. A really good manager is definitely underrated in this business. I think people feel like they can just go and find a manager, but mine was definitely God-given, man, because Chris helped me become a real artist. You know what I mean? I don't even know how Chris got all this knowledge. He's like an old soul, but he helped me like a whole lot, man, because like even all the way back to whenever like I first really started getting my bearings as a rapper, I'm talking about, we talking 2010, 2011, 2009, somewhere right around that time. Like Chris, I would be flowing and saying some good stuff, but like my cadences might not be that fire. I might not switch my flow, or I might rap the whole verse with the same cadence or whatever. This man Chris used to be like, hold on, he would go in the booth and hum how I need to switch the flow. Like you need to be like, he would just hum it, and I would just write the words to what he hummed just to figure out how to do different cadences and stuff like that. So it's like everybody has help in like their growth process to being like a better artist. Because Chris is one of those people who he was listening to Jay-Z and all that stuff as a kid. Like he wasn't listening to what most people was listening to. He was deeper into hip hop. So it's like he had a lot of knowledge to be able to help me grow into the artist that I am today. They ain't ever wrote no bars for me. But like I said, back in the day, he used to help me with my flow, like getting my flow right.
He had the ear, but what you had though, which I love, and a lot of artists, I would encourage you to take note of this, is Translee was willing to receive the information. Like he was willing to take direction. He wasn't against taking direction from somebody else. And I think that's super important if you want to be successful, because as you grow in any creative venture, it's going to require collaboration.
Exactly. Us as artists, a lot of times, that's the hardest thing for us to do, is to take somebody else's advice. Because a lot of times we artists, we think we know it all. We think our plan is the right plan. Also, whenever you go and look at a Beyonce album or like a Drake album, it's 50,000 people on the credits and stuff like that. These great things that people put out into the world, there's a lot of heads that are involved. So we can't get caught up in trying to do it all just by ourselves.
Yeah, facts. And then I wanted to bring up one other point about what you spoke about, and it's the fact that you were willing to start and still develop as an artist. So you didn't allow what you didn't know to stop you. And you had Chris there to help you, and you guys both put your heads together to make that shit work. What I tend to see is a lot of people want the perfectionism. And so I want to ask you what your take is on that, because I know that you've spent a lot of time building albums and trying to get a specific sound, right? And specific songs in a specific sequence. How does that apply to what you're doing now? What I want to understand is, I really just want your take on perfectionism and knowing when it's enough. Like, when is it enough to put it out?
Man, y'all gotta realize people don't even care. Like, it's good to have your stuff mixed and mastered. Definitely you don't want it sounding like crap, but man, you got to get it sounding as good as you can get it and let it fly, because you never know what can get picked up. Like, there's some TikTok hits out here right now where it's like they recorded it on their phone or something. That FNF girl, that nigga freak, I ain't gotta worry about another. That song, she didn't record that in the best studio in the world, and that got her a whole record deal. I understand it's catchy and like super ratchet, but what I'm saying is, like, if she would have waited on perfectionism, she would be still where she was. So it's like, you gotta throw it out there. Like, you gotta throw it out there. But you gotta have a plan, though. Have a plan still. Like, never wanna just be without a plan. Like, as long as you have a plan for what you have going on, then it's organized chaos. Don't be an unorganized chaos. Like, even if you don't have a team, sit and write out what your team would look like if you did have a team. Like, you got to start putting that down on pen and paper so that you can visualize and place people in these positions as they come. And don't be so transactional with people. Don't let every time somebody see you, it's, oh, I need you to do something, blah, 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 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, be of value to them too, you know, or like kick it as friends. Then it's okay to go around somebody that can help you and you not want to take a selfie with them from the jump. You know what I mean? Because people can feel that. So don't be so transactional. Build real, genuine relationships with people, and that'll go far.
No, I totally agree with that. And I think what you said about having a plan is super important, because it should be intentional. And what else I've heard that I think is really interesting, and I'm glad you used her as an example, because that's a new example. Something that I've heard Metro talk about, and also Sunny Digital, is they said they used to listen to Zaytoven and Gucci Man songs where the kicks would be distorted. And they used to think, this is fire, actually. Like, I feel this sound. So it's not all about it being like, you have to understand that perfection doesn't exist. So every time, for me, every time I speak to someone and they say, I'm a perfectionist and I want it to be perfect, I ask them, what does perfect look like to you? And I think as we get older, we learn that if we really want to succeed, we got to put it out, or nobody's going to see it or hear it. And it's good enough because we have taste as artists and creators, and we know what other people like, and we know how to mesh what we do and what other people like most of the time, I would say.
And people are attracted to flawed things. Like, you can sit here and make the most perfect, seamless, perfect cut video and like get the best editors in the world and do all this extra stuff. And somebody with some shaky cell phone footage is gonna come through and get more views and more attention than you, because people are attracted to just real things. Like, it's still good to do the nice videos for the YouTube and all that, but like, when you're just trying to get it going, like, I tell people all the time, artists, this is a cheat code. Freestyling in the car always works. It never loses. It literally always works, no matter what you're doing, singing, rapping. Definitely if you're a singer, you can get off, just sit in your car, put on an instrumental, and sing to people. I guarantee you will see engagement. And if you consistently do that, I guarantee you it'll wrinkle out a lot of issues that you're having with engagement, or like, they're not watching my videos, or they're not watching my, like, people always, they see somebody doing anything, ask something about the car, man. If anything in the car, people are going to sit and watch it because they're waiting to see just what's going to happen, you know?
It feels relatable, bro. You're the king of that. You're the king of that. So I want to jump into that for a second, because I think that's a good strategy that you use that you didn't mention earlier. But one thing I want to say that ties back to what you just said about being in the car and just putting it out. What if the F&F girl never put the song out? Would she be in the position that she's in right now? You know what I'm saying?
No.
Right. And you know that from being in the industry, and I know that from understanding how marketing works. So from both perspectives, we can literally tell you that the answer is no. So that's why it's so important to just put it out. Translee, I want you to speak about how your following or audience or community has grown since you've continued to do those videos in the car.
Man, I probably gained 20,000 of my followers just last year off of rapping in the car. Like literally rapping in the car. Shout out to Toby Wigway, people like DL Hughley, of course T.I., Charlemagne. People have just shared the freestyles. And it's a quick boost, you know what I mean? Like it allows me to be creative. It allows me to, I can think of these raps, find a beat to do it, and get it to the people today. I don't have to wait on uploading into streaming sites and waiting on all that stuff. But I can literally get it to you today. That's the dopest part about it. And if you're consistent, people start to look forward to them. And I'm not gonna lie, like I've been doing car raps quite some time, but my dog Gray, I learned a lot from Gray because he one has a clothing brand, which I do too, and he raps. And I saw how much it worked for him. So it made me pick it back up and like really be consistent with it because I got so many flows in my head, everything can't go on the album. People still got to get this, and I can still build my followers. So, like I said, I easily 20,000 of my followers that started last year, all came from those freestyles, just getting in the car rapping.
So you're saying in 1 year, you've grown 20,000 followers.
Right? Yeah, give or take, like maybe more than that. But also, this is another thing I want to talk about. Followers don't matter anymore. They don't matter anymore. Algorithm, engagement, and because I know people that literally have, I know this girl that has 5,000 followers, but every video she posts, because she consistently posts, it gets like 40, 50, 60,000 views. It goes crazy. And you know how much it cost me to rap in the car? Nothing.
The marketing can be free if you're resourceful.
Artists take that as a thing, man. Definitely singers. That's even better. Show off your talents because that's the rawest, realest way, and people will connect with you in a real way versus if the first time that they see you, it's on some super done up video. Nothing wrong with the done up videos, but let them connect with you first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And make sure you respond to those comments when people connect with you because that's going to build that relationship.
Respond to the comments. That
one thing I want to say that Translee touched on, and I just want to elaborate on it just a little bit more. This social media shit is not a followers game. It's a dollars game. And the followers are just there to have the audience to reach out to when it's time to make the dollars. And the time to make the dollars is as soon as you get 500 people. Like you don't have to wait. So I just wanted to add that because I think that's so true. It's great to have millions of followers, but just so y'all know from a marketing perspective, only 1 to 5% of people actually buy from you. So pay attention to, yes, I have a huge audience and it's great, but at the end of the day, you want to try to get those people off of Instagram and into an email list or a text message list where you can reach them no matter what happens to your Instagram account. So before we go, I want to ask you, how do you make money doing what you love?
So really, man, like it comes from, because of course, if you know anything about streams, a lot of money doesn't come from streams, and I have a record deal, so things get diverted. But the way I'm blessed is that I have a situation with Tip. So he definitely helps us. Like whenever I signed over there and got my first advance, that was like the biggest check I ever got in my life. And I told myself like, okay, I have this now. I'm not necessarily super struggling. Let me stay above this limit. Let me stay where I'm at. The biggest thing I do, like, of course, like shows and stuff like that, but like features is like a big thing, doing features. And then I also started using my talents in like different ways and working, like I'm actually building my marketing company now. And one of my first clients was Gathering Spot. So I've written like a couple of songs for them in their marketing, a couple of financial literacy companies. I've written songs for them. So I'm jumping into that space of like, what are your business initiatives? Give me that and I'll make a song out of it. And that'll go further than any commercial that they ever want to do. What even got me in that space is Kendrick Lamar did this ad for Nike. It was like a spoken word. It was very poetic, and only Kendrick could have done this. And Ryan saw that and he called me. I was like, I want something like that for the gathering spot. And he's like, I feel like you're the only person who can make that come alive. And we did it, turned around, did another one the next year, and then that kind of got my brain going to doing things like that. So that's a way. And then also we have social currency, which that we've been building up over all these years. And you have to use that to go into other things. People have been trying to get me to do merch for a very long time. I didn't want to do it because it wasn't connecting with me of why I need to sell merch. I didn't want to put my album cover on a shirt and try to sell it. Once I started Inner Peace Out of Glow, me and Chelsea, that right there supplements a lot of my income, and it helps me continue to push my positive message, but just in a different way. This is actually grown to be something that I think can live separate from the music. Like it's starting to become its own thing, which is what I really wanted to do, grow its own legs. But it was all birthed from the music. It's all birthed from what I built in the music business. And the people that rock with me, that love my music, listen to my music, I think were the first supporters when I did start pushing the brand. And like last year, even when I started doing the car rap, every car rap I had to bring. So it was like, if you want to get your shirt in front of 100,000 people, you want to spend some money for that. You know what I mean? But I was able to do these freestyles sitting in my car and they're busting 100,000 views. And the shirt is the biggest thing you see. We're able to use the music to cross brand with like other things. And once again, my dog Gray learned a lot from him in being able to run a brand and run your music career. Also, Tip has had, when he got his success, he got a cool Hustle Gang clothing, which down in the South, they love it. They love it everywhere. But I'm saying like folks is rocking the a cool Hustle Gang brand. He leveraged his who he was as an artist into different things. So definitely taking what you built, if you built a following or a fan base on anything, figure out what else are you good at, because you don't want to have all your eggs in the music basket because it's very fickle. It's hard to force the money out of it. The money has to come to you. You gotta wait to get booked and wait on somebody to get a feature and wait on somebody to blah blah blah. You want to create things that you can more so control when your money comes in. But like I said, taking what you're initially good at and spinning that into other things, like kind of like the spinoff show. And then from music relationships that we had, we ended up landing the Cricket Wireless partnership back in Black History Month for NFP's Hourglow. And that was from a music relationship that we had. Chris got him on the phone, and then Cricket Wireless is like, we want to highlight the brand. You know what I mean? Like they were like, bump the music. We want to highlight that. Like that was just off of just pure relationships, and then rocking with me as an artist and as a person to be able to transition into different things. Even the whole gathering spot thing, like that came from us building that relationship with Brian up at the gathering spot and being there, being a member. So gotta put yourself out there and opportunities will come for sure. And also, like, this is the last thing. You said, if you're an artist and you post something and you drop your music and there's 3 people that say something or like it, tap in with those 3 people. Don't look at that as a failure. You got to build this thing brick by brick. Starts from one person and it builds to millions.
Somebody asked a question on any tips on community building when you're just starting out.
Like I said, tap in with the 2 or 3 people, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people that you already have. And like you said, get those emails. Get people's emails. There are plenty of like text-based services where you don't got to give your phone number out, but there's an app that you can go in there and it's just like texting you. Start building that community, talk to the people, because you'll be surprised how many people will rock with you if you just tap in with them. Because everybody's on social media trying to figure out the next thing, figure out what they want to do, figure out how they're going to have a creative outlet. So if you're just able to give people advice on that, which is why this podcast is so important, because it's not going to change everybody's life, but there's 1 or 2 people on here that may take something that we said, or 3 or 4, and figure it out and go and create something major. So that's who I'm more so talking to, the people that are really ready to listen. So yeah, but yeah, there are so many apps and things that you can use to bundle up emails and the text-based service. I think one of them is called Community.
Let me pause you because I want to get the black-owned one. So the black-owned one is Superphone, owned by Ryan Leslie.
What?
Yeah, and it's cheaper.
So this is the email based or is it text based?
This is text message.
Text based. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to sign up with them as soon as we get done with this.
Yeah, so Superphone, owned by Ryan Leslie, black owned. It's the competitor to Community.
I rock with you, Kosh.
But yeah, bro. But also, yeah, that's a great platform. And then another one I want to share is, and I don't think this one is black owned, but another one I want to share is called Mailer. Literally the easiest email campaign software you can use for free. You get like 1,000 subscribers for free.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm sharing that because I use this on a daily basis for myself and for clients. The only thing I would say about building a community is just start. And you can start with the people that you already have relationships with. And that can look like what Translee said about like building an email list, building a text message list, but also you could do a Facebook group. You could do, what is that shit called? It's like text message, like Discord. So just recognize that the community is how you make the money, is how you monetize as an artist. Without the community, you can't do anything. What advice would you give someone that wants to start a brand that don't have much money to start?
So let's say have whatever your brand name is, make sure that it's something that's intriguing. If it's just say your last name is Jones and you want your brand to be called Jones, you're gonna need a lot more money to push that because it's not necessarily grabbing someone. What helps me push this brand is the fact that when people see it, they automatically engage with it. Oh, I like that. I like that saying. It's something that's easier to promote. So I would say this though, no matter what you want to do, start off with 10 shirts, 15 shirts, 20 shirts. Like you're gonna have to have something to start it. So start that and just give them all away. Literally get yourself a budget of about 500 bucks or maybe even less than that. And if you just want to start with 10 shirts, it may cost you 100 bucks, but give them all away. But have the people that you give them away to, have them do a video or have them take some footage or have them take pictures in it. And you get 10 or 15 people, even if you got to do one shirt and put it on somebody, do a video, take it off of them, put it on somebody else, and long as they're the same size, ain't nobody sweating, put it on the next person, get that content, take it off, put it on the next person, get you 10 videos, 15 videos, people wearing your brand. And consistency, there's that word again, consistency wins every time. That's how we started this brand. Like literally, I got about 20 people together, gave them all a shirt, sat them down and said, hey, what does this mean to you? What does Inner Peace Article mean to you? Had them do videos. And then that right there was like that one day I had like 20 pieces of content. So posted one a day, one a day. By that point, people started buying. The sales started coming. So people started sending me pictures of them wearing the brand. Posting one a day, and consistently posting. And then what that does is it makes people that are looking at this every day like they feel behind because they're like, hey, this mug is going crazy right now. And they don't know you took this shirt off one person and put it on the next person. And no matter how you got to get the content, just get the content. You know what I mean? Building up your algorithm. Every time somebody gets on there, they're like, dang, this mug got somebody else in the shirt. Dang, somebody else in the shirt. Somebody else in the shirt. Somebody else in it. Next thing you know, they like, yo, when they see you, they like, bro, I got to get one of them shirts. That's the first thing they want to talk about is because they've been seeing the consistency that you've been putting in. So you can literally start from that. You know what I mean? Start from that.
No, that's a great marketing strategy. And I'll add one technical piece for you. You can go to teespring.com. I typed it in the comments. The store is free. Everything is free, but they will literally make the shirt for you and ship it to the person. And they just take a cut of every sale. You don't have to spend you have to spend less than $500. Do you lose anything when you sign a record deal?
Do you lose anything outside of percentages on your streams and things like that? Which nobody's gonna sign you and not get anything. That would be stupid on their part. So you're going to, and I wouldn't even look at it as losing because that's like saying if you go and invest in a company and you give them money, you're losing. Are you losing that money? Not really, because you're investing in something for hopes of a greater gain later. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I lost anything. No, because the percentages that I lost, I wasn't making anyway. Because what's 100% of nothing? Or we had something going on, but it grew exponentially. He took me on tour And next year, like I gained so many followers just from going on tour and being able to stand next to them. And that allowed for my features to go up and to the people wanted me more on their songs and wanted the affiliations. It's certain things, whatever you sign, you're gonna give up something, but you just have to make sure that you're in a position. That's why you don't sign unless you know your plan. Because if you sign and you don't have your plan on how you're gonna make this work for you, then don't sign because you're gonna find yourself lost. And then you know what happens after every record deal, once it doesn't go right, they start blaming the label and oh, they stealing money from me. And you don't want to get into that. Have a plan, know what you want to do with it. You know what I mean? So you're not really taking any losses. Like I think the only loss that you can really take is if they're like creatively stifling you, like trying to make you be a certain type of artist and you're not that. I think that's when you start taking L's.
And I would say make sure you read and you have someone who's knowledgeable in what it is, like an attorney, preferably an entertainment attorney. Read the contract as well because every deal is going to be different. Just before I go, I want you to tell people how they can connect with you.
You can connect with me on all social media platforms. Just Translee. Subscribe to me on Instagram. I just started that, and I'm dropping some exclusive freestyles, some exclusive content, just on things about how I'm building a brand, and I'm trying to build a community around that, really, to help with being able to push lifestyle brands because it is like a roller coaster. But yeah, just all social media platforms, just Translee.
And what about interviews?
InnerPeaceOutofGlow.com, or if you know me personally, like personally, then you can hit me up too and we can make it work. But everybody else, we prefer you to go on the site, help us get our numbers up. And also so we can get the emails. And also if you just want to be a part of my email list, y'all can DM me or drop your emails right here. And then we'll just go from there. But preferably DM me because everybody won't be taking y'all emails and trying to use this method.
Okay, thank you for your time, bro. I appreciate you. I'm just gonna wrap the podcast real quick. Once again, y'all, this is the Creative Breakthrough Podcast, and I do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. with a well-vetted creative. The goal of this is to eliminate the starving artist. All right, peace and love, y'all.